Imagine if a 1% change in your trading every single day could turn you from a struggling trader into a millionaire. Sounds impossible, right? Tiny, almost invisible improvements that seem meaningless in the moment, yet if done consistently, they can completely transform your financial future. Most traders fail not because their strategies are bad, not because the market is against them, but because they lack discipline. They chase instant results, they overtrade, they ignore the small steps that actually build long-term success. But what if I told you that mastering just 1% improvement every day is the real secret? By the end of this video, you're going to understand how small, disciplined actions can compound into massive profits, how consistency beats luck every single time, and how you can start applying this 1% strategy today to create a trading account that grows steadily and predictably. This isn't theory. This isn't hype. This is the science of compounding, the psychology of discipline, and the strategy that separates professional traders from amateurs. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn the one principle that can change your trading forever. Let's dive into the power of 1%. At first, 1% might sound insignificant. It's tiny, almost invisible, like a single drop of water in the ocean. Most people dismiss it because it seems too small to matter. But here's the truth: small improvements, when repeated consistently, compound in ways that are absolutely staggering. Mathematically, if you improve just 1% every day, the result after 1 year is not 365% better, it's 37 times better. Imagine that, 37 times better. That's the difference between barely scraping by and dominating your trading game, between a small, struggling account and one that steadily grows into life-changing profits. This is the magic of compounding. Now, think about it in simple terms. Imagine you're climbing a staircase. One step doesn't feel like much. You might even question whether it's worth it. But one step after another, day after day, eventually you reach the top. The progress is barely noticeable at first, but over time it becomes unstoppable. The same principle applies to trading. If you improve your entries by just 1%, your risk management by 1%, your emotional control by 1%, the combined effect over months is exponential. Small changes, repeated consistently, become enormous over time. The challenge is that our brains are wired for instant gratification. We want immediate results. We want to see massive gains now, not in 6 months or a year. That's why most traders chase big wins and fail. They risk too much, overtrade, and abandon their plans because they want rapid results. The market punishes impatience and impulsiveness. Professionals understand that consistent, small improvements are far more powerful than occasional, huge efforts. Let's bring this concept to life with an example outside trading. Imagine saving money. If you save 10 this month, it seems tiny. You might think, what difference does this make? But if you save a little every day, and let the savings grow with interest, in a year you've built a significant amount. That's compounding in action. The same is true for skill improvement. A musician practicing 15 minutes daily will improve faster than someone who practices intensely for 3 hours once a week. A runner running 5 days a week improves far more than someone who runs a marathon once a month. These examples illustrate that consistency, not intensity, creates mastery. Now, let's apply this back to trading. Most new traders make the mistake of chasing quick results. They look for one perfect trade, one strategy that will make them rich overnight. They ignore the tiny improvements that actually build skill, discipline, and profitability. They don't track their trades, they don't manage risk properly, they let emotions run wild, and they jump from strategy to strategy. The result: frustration, losses, and quitting. On the other hand, a trader who applies the 1% principle improves consistently. They analyze each trade, journal it, refine entries and exits, manage risk slightly better, and control emotions a little more each day. The gains may seem small at first, almost invisible. But over weeks and months, those small improvements compound, and suddenly their account growth accelerates. It's no longer about luck or hitting a few big trades. It's about steady, predictable improvement. Another way to look at it is like planting seeds. You plant one seed today, another tomorrow, and another the next day. At first, it doesn't look like much. But with consistent care, water, and sunlight, those seeds grow into a flourishing garden. The same principle applies to trading and personal growth. The key takeaway here is that small, disciplined improvements are deceptively powerful. They are invisible in the short term, which is why so many traders overlook them. They chase quick results, they gamble on big wins, and they fail. But those who embrace the 1% strategy, who focus on tiny improvements every single day, eventually reap massive rewards. This is not theory, it is science, psychology, and proven strategy. The journey of 1,000 trades begins with a single disciplined step. Each trade, each adjustment, each small refinement is a building block. The results might not be obvious at first, but over time, they compound into something extraordinary. That's the power of 1%, and that's why it separates professional traders from amateurs. Those who understand and apply this principle consistently don't rely on luck. They don't need to chase big wins. They build steady, compounding success that eventually outpaces anyone chasing shortcuts. So, as we move forward in this video, keep this in mind: every small improvement you make in your trading, no matter how tiny, adds up. 1% better today, 1% better tomorrow, 1% better the next day. It seems small, but over weeks, months, and a year, the results are nothing short of transformative. This is the foundation of the 1% strategy. Understanding it is simple, applying it consistently is where most traders fail. Stick with me, because in the next sections, you're going to learn exactly how to take these small steps in a practical way, how to track, refine, and compound your improvements, and how to make the 1% strategy work for you in real trading. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the power of 1%, you'll know exactly how to harness it to grow your account, improve your skills, and finally take control of your trading success. Most traders believe success comes from massive effort. They think working harder, taking bigger risks, or grinding intensely for hours will produce results. They imagine that one huge trade, one extraordinary session, or an all or nothing approach will make them rich. But that's a dangerous misconception. In reality, consistent small discipline is far more powerful than sporadic bursts of effort. Let's compare it to athletes. A world-class athlete doesn't become a champion by training intensely for a single day and then taking a month off. They train consistently, day after day, improving just a little at a time. Each day they refine technique, build endurance, strengthen muscles, and sharpen focus. The improvements are often invisible in the moment, almost imperceptible. But over weeks, months, and years, these tiny daily gains compound into extraordinary skill. They don't rely on luck or one big effort, they rely on consistency. The same principle applies to trading. Discipline is like building muscle. Each disciplined action, tracking trades, controlling emotions, refining strategy, managing risk, is a repetition that strengthens your trading ability. If you focus only on big effort without consistency, you may see a spike of results, but it won't last. Discipline compounds mental and skill advantages over time. Every small, consistent action builds your confidence, sharpens your focus, and reduces mistakes. It makes decision-making automatic. Over time, a disciplined trader develops what I call trading muscle. This is the ability to execute trades calmly, stick to a plan, and avoid emotional pitfalls. It's not built in a single day or from one massive effort. It's forged through repetition and consistency. Imagine climbing a staircase one step at a time. One step doesn't seem significant. You might even wonder if it's worth it. But with each step, you get closer to the top. After hundreds of steps, you're standing at the summit, amazed at how far you've come. Each step represents a small disciplined action. Tracking a trade, following a rule, taking a breath instead of overreacting. These steps, repeated day after day, compound into mastery. Think about small daily practice versus one big session. A musician who practices for 30 minutes every day improves faster than someone who practices intensely for 3 hours once a week. A runner who trains consistently 5 days a week outperforms someone who runs a marathon once a month. Trading works exactly the same way. The trader who improves a little every day, adjusting entries, refining exits, managing risk slightly better, controlling emotions just a bit more, is the trader who succeeds over the long term. Big effort without consistency leads to burnout, mistakes, and frustration. You might make one huge win, feel euphoric, and think you're on top of the world, but without consistent discipline, the next trade is likely to wipe it all out. Small, consistent improvements, on the other hand, build confidence and mental resilience. They create a foundation that supports growth over time. Your decisions become more deliberate, your reactions calmer, and your performance more predictable. Discipline doesn't just improve your results, it strengthens your mind, your patience, and your emotional control. Professionals know this. They don't rely on luck. They don't gamble on one big win. They build a system of small, disciplined actions that compound into long-term success. Each day, each trade, each tiny adjustment adds to this system. Over time, it becomes automatic. You start trusting yourself because your results reflect your consistent efforts. Your trading muscle grows stronger, your confidence deepens, and your account begins to reflect the cumulative power of small, disciplined actions. The beauty of this approach is that it works for anyone, regardless of experience or account size. You don't need to take huge risks or make one perfect trade. You just need to take small, disciplined steps every day. The cumulative effect is unstoppable. Remember, mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. Discipline is the engine that drives consistent, long-term growth. Big effort might give temporary results, but small, consistent discipline compounds into skill, confidence, and ultimately, profits that most traders can't even imagine. Every step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to mastery. Every disciplined action strengthens your mental and trading muscles, reduces mistakes, and builds the foundation for predictable growth. The traders who succeed aren't the ones who take massive risks or make dramatic efforts. They're the ones who improve consistently, day by day, trade by trade, decision by decision. That is the true power of small discipline. It's invisible at first, often boring and unglamorous, but over time, it becomes unstoppable. It separates amateurs from professionals. It transforms struggling accounts into steadily growing ones. It turns inconsistent traders into masters of their craft. If you take this principle seriously and start applying it today, even the tiniest improvements in your discipline will compound into extraordinary results. Over weeks, months, and years, these small steps become a powerful force that propels you toward mastery, predictability, and lasting success in trading and in life. Now it's time to get practical. You understand the power of 1% and why small discipline beats big effort, but knowing the theory isn't enough. The real change happens when you apply it to your trading, every single day. Let's break it down step by step, so you can see exactly how to use the 1% strategy to grow your skills, your confidence, and your account. Step 1 is simple but incredibly powerful. Track everything. Every trade you take, every decision you make, every emotion you feel while trading, write it down. This is not optional. Journaling is the foundation of improvement. When you track your trades, you start noticing patterns that were invisible before. You'll see where you tend to panic, where you chase losses, where you break rules, and where you consistently succeed. Awareness is the first step to improvement. If you don't know what you're doing wrong, how can you fix it? Journaling also shows you small improvements over time. Maybe you executed an entry perfectly today, or controlled your fear during a volatile moment. It may feel minor, but it's an improvement, a 1% step forward. Track it, celebrate it, use it to reinforce the behavior. Over weeks and months, these tiny gains compound into massive growth. Step 2 is risk management. Most traders overlook this, and it's why accounts blow up so often. But improving risk management by even 1% every day has a compounding effect that protects your capital and allows you to trade consistently. Let's say yesterday you risked 3% of your account per trade. Today you reduce it slightly to 2.9%. It feels almost invisible in the moment, but over hundreds of trades, it dramatically reduces the chances of catastrophic loss. Proper risk management allows you to survive, to stay in the game, and to let your small improvements compound over time. Without protecting your capital, all the discipline and strategy in the world won't matter. Step 3 is emotional discipline. Emotions like fear, greed, and impatience are the silent killers of trading accounts. By improving your emotional control by just 1% daily, you reduce impulsive trades, avoid overtrading, and stick to your plan more consistently. The trader who can remain calm during volatility, follow rules without bending them, and detach from the outcome of a single trade is the trader who succeeds over the long term. Emotional discipline is not about being perfect. It's about small, consistent wins over your impulses. Each time you resist overtrading, each time you follow your stop loss, each time you take a breath instead of reacting impulsively, you are strengthening your trading muscle. Step 4 is strategy refinement. This doesn't mean chasing new strategies every week or constantly switching systems. Refinement is about making small, deliberate improvements to the strategy you already have. Adjust entries slightly, fine-tune exit points, add or refine filters, tweak timing. Each small improvement compounds over time. For example, a trader who improves entry timing by just a fraction each week might notice barely any difference at first. But after months, the results become substantial, and the account growth becomes steady and predictable. These 4 steps, tracking everything, risk management, emotional discipline, and strategy refinement, form the foundation of applying the 1% strategy in trading. Let's visualize this. Imagine your trading account as a garden. Each trade is a seed. Journaling is measuring the soil and sunlight, seeing which plants thrive and which struggle. Risk management is watering carefully, ensuring nothing dies. Emotional discipline is protecting the garden from pests and storms. Strategy refinement is adjusting placement, sunlight, and nutrients for optimal growth. At first, the garden doesn't look like much. The growth is slow, almost invisible. But after months of consistent care, the garden flourishes, overflowing with profits and confidence. Every small action compounds. Another real-world example. Imagine a trader with a 500 account. Each day, they track trades, slightly improve risk management, control emotions a little better, and refine their strategy. Week 1 shows minor growth, barely noticeable. Month 3 shows steady upward movement. Month 6 the growth curve starts accelerating. A year later that small account is no longer small. This is the power of compounding small improvements. Consistency beats luck, preparation beats impulse, and discipline beats raw effort. Here's the key: you don't need dramatic changes overnight. You don't need one perfect trade. You only need one small improvement each day. One tiny change in tracking, one minor adjustment in risk, one extra second of emotional control, one slight tweak in strategy. Compounded over time, these steps create extraordinary results. Repeat these steps daily. Track your trades. Manage risk carefully. Control emotions. Refine your strategy. Over weeks, your skills strengthen. Over months, your account grows predictably. Over a year, you'll see results that most traders chasing shortcuts can't imagine. Professionals do not rely on luck. They build systems of small, disciplined actions that compound automatically. This is how consistent profits are made. And the beauty is, anyone can start today. Take one trade. Track it. Note your emotions. Adjust your risk slightly. Follow your rules. Look for one small improvement. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again the next day. That is how mastery is built. 1% improvement daily may seem invisible at first, but over time it transforms your trading account, your skills, and your confidence. This is the essence of the 1% strategy. Applied consistently, it turns struggling traders into professionals. It transforms small accounts into steadily growing ones. It builds trading muscle, emotional control, and mental strength. It is simple, but it is not easy. It requires commitment, patience, and focus, but the payoff is massive, predictable, and long-lasting. By embracing these steps, tracking everything, managing risk, controlling emotions, refining strategy, you harness the compounding power of small improvements. You take control of your trading journey. You stop gambling on luck and start relying on consistent, disciplined action. That is how you apply the 1% strategy in trading. It is actionable, repeatable, and powerful beyond measure. Start today, take your first small step, and let compounding work for you. Let's dive into the psychology behind the 1% strategy, because understanding the mental side of trading is what separates winners from losers. The truth is, human beings are wired for instant gratification. We want results now. We want the thrill of a quick win, the adrenaline of a huge trade, the satisfaction of seeing money appear in our accounts immediately. That desire for instant rewards is natural, but in trading, it's deadly. It undermines consistency, discipline, and patience, the very things that compound into long-term success. Most traders fail because they try to force results. They risk too much, chase big wins, overtrade, or abandon their strategy after a single loss. They break the chain of consistency. But the 1% strategy works because it aligns with how the brain actually learns and grows. Each small improvement is a win. Each disciplined action reinforces positive behavior. Small wins trigger tiny dopamine releases, boosting confidence. This confidence compounds, making future decisions easier and less emotional. Over time, these small wins strengthen your mindset just as much as your skills. Think of it like planting seeds. One seed doesn't grow into a forest overnight. But if you plant a seed, water it consistently, and tend to it patiently, it will sprout. Then another seed grows, and another. Soon, what seemed like a single, insignificant act has grown into a thriving forest. The same principle applies to trading. Each small, disciplined trade is a seed. Journaling, managing risk, controlling emotions, refining strategy. These are tiny drops of water nurturing those seeds. At first, you may see almost nothing. The growth feels invisible. But over weeks and months, your trading forest begins to thrive. Your account grows steadily, your confidence strengthens, and your ability to make rational, disciplined decisions improves dramatically. Another metaphor is the snowball effect. Each small improvement is a snowflake landing on your snowball. Alone, it seems trivial. But day after day, week after week, your snowball grows larger, heavier, unstoppable. The compounding effect is not just in profits, it's in skills, mindset, and emotional control. Now consider what happens when the chain of consistency is broken. Imagine a trader who journals for a few days, then skips a week. They manage risk well for a month, then start chasing big wins. They control emotions sometimes, but give in to greed and fear often. The results are inconsistent, frustrating, and ultimately destructive. The small wins lose their power, the snowball stops growing, and the forest never matures. Consistency is not optional, it's essential. The psychology of small wins also explains why many traders underestimate the power of 1%. The brain tends to dismiss incremental change because it's not immediately rewarding. We look for dramatic shifts, instant validation, and visible progress. But the compounding power of 1% is invisible in the short term, and that's precisely why most traders fail. They can't see the effect of small actions, so they abandon them. In reality, the invisible growth is what builds unstoppable traders. Confidence is another key factor. Each small improvement, each successful execution of a disciplined trade builds confidence. Confidence compounds just like profits. One disciplined trade leads to another. One controlled reaction to fear or greed leads to another. Over time, your decisions become automatic, rational, and less emotional. You begin trusting yourself, trusting the process, and trusting your system. Emotional stability and confidence are not just nice to have, they are the foundation of consistent profits. Let's take a real-world example. Consider two traders with identical strategies and account sizes. Trader A improves by 1% daily, tracking trades, managing risk, controlling emotions, refining strategy. Trader B chases big wins, ignores rules, and relies on luck. After 6 months, Trader A has steady, compounding account growth, stronger skills, and unwavering confidence. Trader B has erratic results, emotional stress, and a dwindling account. The difference is not talent, it's psychology. It's the consistent application of small, deliberate improvements that reinforce confidence, discipline, and skill. Small wins create a feedback loop. Positive results reinforce positive habits. Positive habits reinforce confidence. Confidence reinforces better decisions. Better decisions reinforce positive results. This loop compounds continuously, building not just profits but a professional mindset. The 1% strategy is psychologically effective because it breaks the cycle of frustration and self-sabotage. Instead of chasing instant gratification and high-risk rewards, you focus on small, achievable actions that lead to meaningful results over time. Another way to see it is through the lens of water. A single drop of water hitting a rock seems insignificant, but over time, thousands of drops erode the rock, shaping it. Small, repeated actions, though invisible initially, create massive change. The same is true for trading. Small, disciplined actions erode bad habits, reshape your mindset, and build the foundation for compounding success. And here's the most important insight: the psychology of 1% works for anyone. It doesn't matter your account size, experience level, or past failures. If you can commit to small, consistent improvements, the compounding effect will transform your trading over time. It builds resilience, patience, and mental strength, qualities that no strategy alone can provide. The key takeaway is this: your brain wants instant rewards, but long-term trading success rewards patience, consistency, and incremental improvement. Each small, disciplined action is a vote for your future self, a reinforcement of good habits, a seed planted for long-term growth. The more consistent you are, the faster your confidence compounds, the stronger your decision-making becomes, and the more unstoppable your progress. The snowball grows, the forest flourishes, and the invisible growth becomes undeniable. By embracing the psychology of 1%, you align your brain's natural learning mechanisms with the compounding power of small improvements. You stop chasing shortcuts, you stop gambling on luck, and you start building a system that works reliably over time. This is the mental foundation that allows trading skill, discipline, and account growth to flourish. And it starts with one small action today: tracking a trade, managing risk slightly better, controlling your emotion, or refining your strategy. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day. The power of 1% is not in dramatic wins, it is in consistency, compounding, and the psychology of small wins building unstoppable confidence. Stick with it, respect the process, and over time, you will see the transformation that most traders never experience. You will not only grow your account, you will grow your mind, your discipline, and your future. Even with the 1% strategy, traders often sabotage their own progress. Understanding common mistakes and how to avoid them is crucial because one misstep can break the chain of consistent improvement. Let's go through the top 5 mistakes that destroy compounding growth and discuss practical ways to fix them. Mistake 1: chasing shortcuts. Most traders are addicted to instant gratification. They want the big win, the overnight success, the miracle trade. Chasing shortcuts is like trying to drive a car without learning to steer. You might move fast for a moment, but eventually, you crash. When you look for quick fixes, you ignore the compounding effect of small improvements. Every small, disciplined action loses its power. To avoid this, focus on process over outcome. Celebrate small wins, track your trades, and refine your strategy incrementally. Remember, success is built day by day, not in one single trade. Mistake 20: skipping journaling. Traders who fail to journal are flying blind. Without tracking trades, emotions, and decisions, it's impossible to see patterns, correct mistakes, or reinforce improvements. Skipping journaling is like planting seeds without watering them. You won't see growth. To fix this, commit to logging every trade. Include entry and exit points, your reasoning, emotional state, and lessons learned. Review your journal weekly. Small insights compound into major improvements over time, and journaling is the tool that makes them visible. Mistake 30: ignoring emotions. Fear and greed are silent killers of trading accounts. Emotional decisions override logic and discipline. Traders who ignore emotions end up overtrading, abandoning rules, or chasing losses. Even the best strategy fails if emotions dominate. To avoid this, pause before every trade. Take note of your feelings. Are you afraid, impatient, or overconfident? Use that awareness to make rational choices. Practice one small emotional discipline each day, whether it's adhering strictly to a stop loss or refusing to revenge trade after a loss. Over time, controlling emotions compounds into steady decision-making and confidence. Mistake 4A: overtrading. Overtrading is another trap. More trades don't equal more profits. In fact, they usually mean more mistakes. When traders overtrade, they erode capital and discipline, undoing any small improvements they might have gained. The key is quality over quantity. Only take trades that meet your plan's criteria. Stick to your risk management rules. Limit the number of trades per day if needed. Treat each trade like a deliberate, purposeful step rather than a gamble. Over time, disciplined trade selection compounds into superior results. Mistake 5: abandoning the plan. Even disciplined traders sometimes stray from their plan when things get stressful. Maybe a trade doesn't go their way, or they see someone else's hot tip. Breaking the plan destroys compounding progress, because each deviation erodes trust in your system and in yourself. To prevent this, create a plan you understand and believe in, and follow it strictly. If a trade goes against you, review your plan rather than abandoning it. Each day you follow your plan, you reinforce discipline, emotional control, and skill. Now, let's bring this together with a real-world example. Imagine a trader who initially follows the 1% strategy. They track trades, manage risk, control emotions, and refine their strategy. For a few weeks, everything is working, but then they start chasing a shortcut, a high-risk trade promising quick profits. They skip journaling that day, ignore their emotions, overtrade, and abandon their plan mid-session. By the end of the week, their account is down, and the compounding effect of previous improvements is partially undone. 1 week of mistakes wipes out what took months to build. This illustrates why vigilance is crucial. Avoiding these mistakes is as important as executing the 1% strategy itself. Practical corrective step. For shortcuts, commit to process-based goals, not outcome-based goals. Focus on improving one small skill daily. For journaling, set aside 10 minutes after each trading session to log trades and emotions. Treat it as non-negotiable. For emotions, pause, breathe, and reflect before every trade. Use mental cues to stay disciplined. For overtrading, limit the number of trades per day. Stick strictly to setups that meet your criteria. For abandoning the plan, create a clear, simple trading plan and review it daily. Trust the process even when a trade goes against you. Avoiding these mistakes ensures that every small improvement compounds. You protect your capital, build confidence, strengthen mental discipline, and create a system that works reliably over time. Remember, consistency is fragile. One misstep can break the chain of compounding, but awareness and corrective action allow you to stay on track. The 1% strategy is powerful, but it is only effective when combined with vigilance against common pitfalls. Traders who embrace process over shortcuts, track their trades, manage emotions, limit overtrading, and stick to their plan build compounding success that lasts. The key is discipline in action. Small, deliberate steps repeated consistently create unstoppable momentum. Mistakes will happen, but what matters is learning from them and returning to the process immediately. Over time, the cumulative effect of avoiding these mistakes and consistently applying the 1% strategy creates a professional trader mindset, predictable account growth, and confidence that cannot be shaken. To truly understand the power of the 1% strategy, let's look at real-life case studies. Theory is one thing, but seeing it applied in the real world is what makes it tangible and motivating. Imagine a trader named Alex. Alex started with a small account of 500, not much, just enough to practice and learn. At first, progress was painfully slow. Every day, Alex tracked every trade in a journal: entry, exit, reasoning, and emotional state. Some days, the trades went well. Other days, they went poorly. But the key was that Alex didn't get discouraged. Instead, each trade, win or loss, became a lesson. This is the first milestone: daily journaling. It seems minor, almost tedious, but it built awareness. Alex started noticing patterns. Times when emotions ran high, setups that worked consistently, and mistakes that cost money. Awareness was the foundation for improvement. The second milestone was minor risk adjustments. Initially, Alex risked 3% of the account per trade. Some trades went badly and losses felt painful, so Alex reduced risk slightly, 2.8%, then 2.7%, making small, calculated adjustments over time. Each tiny change wasn't dramatic, but it protected the account from catastrophic losses. Slowly, these small adjustments compounded. Capital was preserved, allowing Alex to stay in the game and continue learning. The third milestone was slow, steady account growth. Alex didn't get rich overnight. Some weeks the account barely moved. Other weeks, small gains accumulated. But because of consistent journaling, disciplined risk management, and incremental improvements, the account began to grow predictably. Every trade reinforced discipline, every journal entry strengthened awareness, and every small adjustment added to the compounding effect. Over months, the 500 account doubled, then tripled. A year later, it had grown multiple times over, not because of one lucky trade, but because of consistent 1% improvements every day. Now let's put this in perspective with a real-world analogy. Warren Buffett. Buffett didn't become the world's most successful investor by hitting a jackpot overnight. He became successful through decades of small, disciplined improvements, studying businesses daily, making incremental investments, reinvesting gains, and applying compounding over decades. His fortune is the result of consistent, incremental actions repeated over time. Just like Buffett, Alex's growth was not a matter of luck or random big wins. It was the discipline of small, consistent steps compounding into extraordinary results. Let's highlight a few lessons from Alex's journey. First, discipline beats luck. Traders who rely on random luck, big bets, or shortcuts may have temporary spikes in profits, but they rarely last. Discipline, through journaling, risk management, emotional control, and strategy refinement, creates predictable, sustainable growth. Second, small wins compound into massive results. Alex improved just 1% per day in multiple areas. Individually, the improvements seemed minor. Collectively, over time, they produced dramatic account growth. Third, consistency is non-negotiable. Missing journaling for a day, overtrading, or chasing shortcuts slows the compounding effect. Alex's success depended on returning to the process every single day, no matter what happened. Another real-life example comes from a community of traders applying similar principles. One trader began with Forex and focused solely on improving risk management by 1% daily. They tracked every trade meticulously and refused to chase big wins. 6 months later, their account had grown by more than 50% steadily and predictably. Not flashy, not dramatic, but a testament to the power of incremental improvement. Compare that to a trader chasing a hot tip or taking a risky trade without preparation. They might double their account in a day, but they also risk losing everything. The difference is discipline, process, and the compounding effect of small steps. Let's talk about mindset. Alex often felt impatient. Watching the account grow slowly was frustrating at first. It would have been easy to abandon the process and chase shortcuts. But each time Alex resisted, followed the plan, and focused on small improvements, confidence grew. Emotional discipline reinforced skill development, and the process itself became rewarding. Over time, the compounding effect wasn't just financial, it was psychological. Confidence, patience, and resilience grew alongside the account. Here's another way to visualize it. Imagine drops of water falling on a rock. Each drop is tiny, almost invisible. But over time, the drops carve grooves, shape the stone, and eventually create something remarkable. That's exactly what small, consistent improvements do in trading. Each trade, each journaling session, each minor adjustment is a drop of water. Invisible at first, but over time, the results are undeniable. Alex's story also reinforces that size of the account doesn't matter. Whether starting with 500 or 5,000, the principles remain the same. Protect your capital, track trades, control emotions, refine strategy, and make small improvements daily. Compounding doesn't discriminate. What matters is consistency, discipline, and patience. Finally, the key takeaway from these real-life case studies is that success is predictable, not random. Traders who follow the 1% strategy experience steady growth, build confidence, and develop professional-level skills. Traders who ignore process, chase shortcuts, or rely on luck experience inconsistent results and often fail. Compounding small improvements works because it aligns with human psychology, reinforces positive habits, and leverages the natural power of incremental growth over time. So, when you apply the 1% strategy, think like Alex and like Buffett. Focus on small daily improvements, track your progress, manage risk carefully, control emotions, and refine your strategy incrementally. Celebrate small wins and trust the process. Over months and years, these small actions compound into extraordinary results that most traders chasing luck can't even imagine. Discipline, patience, and consistency are your greatest assets. Applied correctly, they will turn small accounts into significant ones, mistakes into lessons, and consistent effort into a professional trading career. Building a habit is the bridge between knowing and doing, and without habits, even the best strategies remain theory. So the first principle of building your 1% habit is to start small. Most traders fail because they attempt to change everything at once, trying to overhaul their mindset, strategy, emotional control, risk management, and journaling in a single week, which is overwhelming and unsustainable. The key is to pick one area to improve each day and focus entirely on that area. For example, today you may focus solely on journaling every trade. logging every entry, exit, emotional state, and rationale. Tomorrow your focus could be on reducing risk slightly, and the next day on controlling one emotional impulse, such as resisting revenge trading. Starting small reduces mental friction, prevents burnout, and allows your brain to focus on executing one habit perfectly. Tiny, deliberate actions repeated consistently create unstoppable momentum over time. Think of it like lifting weights. You wouldn't bench press 200 pounds on your first day. You start with a manageable weight, focus on perfect form, and gradually increase. The same principle applies to habits. Every small action you repeat daily becomes a building block for mastery. Starting small also allows you to experiment without fear. Small mistakes are easier to correct, small wins provide psychological reinforcement, and each tiny victory compounds into confidence, which fuels further habit formation. Another critical aspect is setting micro goals. Micro goals are measurable, achievable targets representing just 1% improvement. Vague ambitions like, "I want to be a better trader," are ineffective. Instead, set clear, concrete goals such as, "I will log every trade today with emotional notes," or "I will reduce risk per trade by 0.1%, or "I will wait 30 seconds before entering a trade to ensure I'm following my rules." These micro goals create clarity, focus, and accountability. They give your brain a tangible target and release small doses of dopamine with each achievement, which reinforces the habit loop. Consider a trader improving journaling. On day 1 they log only entry and exit. On day 2 they add emotional notes. On day 3 they add market context, and by the end of the month, their journaling habit is advanced, providing actionable insights that compound into better trading decisions. Micro goals make progress visible, and small improvements that might otherwise feel invisible suddenly become tangible. This visibility fuels motivation and prevents early abandonment of the process. Reflection is another cornerstone of building a 1% habit. Habits repeated without reflection are mechanical and stagnate. Reflection transforms repetition into deliberate improvement. After each trading session, take a few minutes to review your actions. Ask yourself, did I follow my trading plan? Did I manage my risk correctly? Did I react emotionally to any trade? What one small tweak can improve tomorrow's performance? Reflection creates awareness, allows you to identify patterns, reinforces learning, and enables small adjustments that compound into significant improvement over time. For example, a trader noticing they exit trades too early due to fear can consciously adjust and improve their exit discipline by 1% each day, over weeks and months. These incremental tweaks transform overall performance. Reflection also strengthens emotional resilience. A trader who regularly reflects on mistakes without judgment reduces emotional reactivity, becomes more patient, more disciplined, and more confident. Reflection turns small actions into meaningful results. Another key element is automating discipline. Relying solely on willpower is risky because motivation fluctuates daily and mental fatigue can sabotage even the best intentions. Automation does not require robots. It means creating systems, templates, checklists, and rules that reduce mental friction and make consistent action effortless. For example, a trade checklist that includes criteria for entry, exit, risk, and emotional state ensures every trade is executed systematically. A risk management template calculates position size automatically based on account balance and risk percentage. Journaling templates streamline logging trades, emotions, and lessons. Automation removes the guesswork and reduces the likelihood of skipping essential steps. Discipline becomes default behavior, not something that must be consciously enforced. Automation also enables scalability. Once core habits are automated, additional improvements such as advanced tracking metrics, strategy refinements, or timing adjustments can be layered without feeling overwhelming. Automation reduces cognitive load, preserves willpower, and ensures consistent execution, which accelerates compounding improvement. Imagine small drops of water repeatedly hitting a rock. Each drop seems insignificant, but over time, grooves are carved, the rock is shaped, and eventually, something remarkable emerges. That is exactly what small, automated, consistent habits do in trading. Each micro-action compounds over time into skill, confidence, and account growth. Now let's integrate these steps into a 1% habit loop. Starting small builds momentum and confidence. Micro goals provide measurable wins, reflection optimizes actions and reinforces learning, and automation ensures consistency without relying solely on willpower. These 4 steps feed into one another, creating a self-reinforcing cycle where every improvement compounds, skills grow, emotional resilience strengthens, and trading performance accelerates. The earlier you start and the more consistently you apply this loop, the greater the exponential growth over time. Next, let's visualize a daily routine of a trader applying the 1% habit loop. Upon waking, they review a small checklist. Today I will log every trade with emotional notes. I will follow my risk management template, and I will adhere strictly to my strategy. During the trading session, they follow entry and exit checklists, note emotional triggers, and track performance. After the session, they spend 10 minutes reflecting, answering key questions about execution, emotions, and small tweaks for improvement. Finally, they update their journal using a template that ensures consistency. Every action is deliberate, small, and contributes to compounding growth over weeks and months. These repeated habits transform the trader's skill, mindset, and account performance. Small adjustments like slightly better timing, slight emotional control, or minor risk reduction compound into massive results. Even when trades go against them, the habit loop ensures steady progress, and when mistakes occur, the trader immediately returns to the process. Maintaining continuity, which is the secret of compounding improvement. Psychological insights further reinforce the importance of habits. Humans are wired for instant gratification. We want results now, which is why most traders fail. Starting small and setting micro goals leverages behavioral psychology to create immediate, achievable wins. Reflection provides feedback and rewires thinking patterns, and automation reduces decision fatigue, making consistency effortless. By layering these behavioral strategies, the 1% habit becomes unstoppable. Action is critical. Start today. Choose one micro habit. Implement it fully, reflect on its execution, and automate wherever possible. Don't wait for perfect conditions or a perfect mindset. Pick one small action now and commit to it. Each small action repeated daily is a building block for mastery. Over time, these building blocks stack into professional-grade trading skill, emotional control, and account growth. Consistency compounds. Small actions produce big results, and habits are the vessel through which knowledge transforms into results. Common mistakes to avoid include trying to do too much at once, skipping reflection, relying solely on motivation, ignoring mental fatigue, and abandoning the habit chain. These mistakes slow compounding, undermine confidence, and create inconsistent results. By following the steps of starting small, micro goals, reflection, and automation, traders protect against these mistakes, maintain momentum, and reinforce their discipline. To illustrate, consider a trader who logs every trade, follows a risk template, reflects daily, and automates their process. Over 6 months, they see consistent account growth, improved decision making, emotional stability, and confidence. Compared to a trader who skips journaling, chases shortcuts, and relies on willpower alone, the results are dramatically different. Reinforcing the power of compounding small, disciplined actions. The essence of building the 1% habit is simplicity, repeatability, and consistency. Small measurable actions repeated daily produce exponential growth over time. The combination of awareness, reflection, deliberate action, and automation creates habits that are self-sustaining and unstoppable. Your job as a trader is to start small, pick a micro goal, reflect on execution, automate the process, layer improvements, and repeat consistently over weeks, months, and years. These habits transform your trading mindset and life. Every day is an opportunity to improve by 1%, and these incremental steps compound into mastery, skill, confidence, and financial growth. So commit now. Start with a single habit, measure it, reflect, automate, and never break the chain. The snowball of improvement is in your hands, and with disciplined repetition, patience, and intelligent execution, you will transform from an ordinary trader into a consistently successful professional. The power of 1% is real, and applied as a habit, it becomes the most powerful tool you have for long-term trading success. Remember, small steps repeated consistently, measured, reflected upon, and automated create unstoppable compounding results. Start today, focus on the process, trust the system, and the results will follow. The 1% habit is your path to mastery. Every small improvement compounds into extraordinary outcomes, and the earlier you begin, the more powerful the results will be. Building the 1% habit is not optional for serious traders. It is the foundation of predictable success. It is the vehicle through which knowledge transforms into skill, mistakes become lessons, and small, consistent actions become professional-level results. So take action now. Start small, set a micro goal, reflect, automate, repeat, and let compounding work its magic. Your future trading self will thank you, because these tiny, deliberate actions, repeated consistently, create unstoppable growth, skill mastery, emotional control, and account compounding. The 1% habit is simple, actionable, psychologically optimized, and fully within your control. Make it your daily practice, your system for excellence, and your way to achieve extraordinary results through ordinary, disciplined, repeatable steps. Each day is a chance to improve, each action compounds, and each step brings you closer to professional mastery. Success is predictable, not random. When you apply the 1% habit consistently every day, without exception, over time, small actions compound into mastery, confidence, emotional stability, and sustainable account growth. Start today, commit fully, and make the 1% habit unstoppable. You've learned the power of the 1% strategy. You've explored habits, psychology, practical steps, and real-life examples. And now it's time to bring it all together and end on a high note, because knowledge without action is useless. And this is your moment to commit, your moment to take the first deliberate step toward transformation. The journey of 1,000 trades begins with one conscious decision, one micro-action, one disciplined choice. And that choice starts today, right now, in this very moment. Imagine for a second what your life and trading could look like if you applied just 1% improvement every day, just one small action repeated consistently, compounding over weeks, months, and years. Imagine the confidence you would build, the mental strength you would develop, the emotional stability you would gain, the account growth you could achieve. It all starts with recognizing that small, disciplined improvements are the real secret to success, not luck, not talent, not chasing quick wins. The traders who achieve freedom, mastery, and long-term results are those who embrace the power of compounding in their habits, their discipline, and their mindset. And now it's your turn. Take a deep breath and commit to one thing you will improve by 1% today. It could be journaling, managing your risk slightly better, controlling an emotional impulse, refining a strategy entry, or simply reviewing a trade with complete honesty. Whatever it is, commit fully, because that small action, repeated day after day, will compound into extraordinary results. Think long-term. The power of the 1% strategy is not in instant gratification, it's in patience, consistency, and discipline. These are the ingredients that create mastery. Every trader wants freedom, financial security, emotional stability, and confidence, yet most never achieve it because they chase shortcuts, quick wins, and instant results. But you now know the truth. Consistency is freedom, patience is power, and small disciplined actions are the pathway to mastery. The choices you make today, this very moment, will echo in your results tomorrow, next week, next month, and years from now. Take ownership of your actions, your habits, your mindset, and your growth. Commit to the 1% principle, and let it guide every decision, every trade, every action, every day. This is your call to action. No fluff, no excuses, just a deliberate step toward becoming the trader and the person you want to be. Pick one action, one habit, one area to improve today, and execute it fully. The 1% strategy doesn't require extraordinary effort, it requires extraordinary consistency. Your first step today is the start of your transformation. The first domino in a chain that will topple limitations, fear, doubt, and mediocrity. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, 365 small improvements later, your skills sharpened, your mindset unshakable, your discipline automatic, your account growth reflecting your patience and consistency. This is not hypothetical, this is real and entirely within your control. Because each day you decide to act, to improve by 1%, you set the stage for extraordinary results. Don't underestimate the power of small, disciplined choices. They are the foundation of mastery, the compounding engine that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Now, feel the energy of possibility, the motivation that comes from knowing that your actions matter, that your habits define your future, that your discipline creates freedom. Let that energy drive you to take action immediately. Right now, write down the one area you will improve today. Commit to it fully, track it, reflect on it, and make it automatic. Because the moment you take that first step, the snowball of compounding begins. Your skill, your confidence, your emotional control, your account, and ultimately your life start growing exponentially from this point forward. Don't wait, don't hesitate, don't make excuses. Champions are not born, they are built through repeated, disciplined action. And today, you are building yourself, your future, your trading mastery. The 1% principle is simple but profoundly powerful. Apply it consistently and watch transformation unfold. Remember, small improvements are invisible initially, but the compounding effect over time is massive. Your first 1% action today is the seed that grows into a forest of skill, confidence, and financial freedom. Long-term thinking is essential, patience is a weapon, consistency is your ally, and discipline is the foundation of everything you want to achieve. So act now. Pick that one thing to improve by 1% today, execute it fully, track it, reflect on it, and automate it wherever possible. This is your roadmap to transformation. Nothing else matters as much as consistent action. Every small choice compounds, every micro win builds momentum, every reflection improves skill, and every automated habit ensures progress even when motivation fades. Remember, you are not chasing luck, you are building a system that rewards patience, discipline, and small, daily improvements. Your first step today is the beginning. It is the spark that ignites change, the foundation upon which you will build your trading mastery, your confidence, and your freedom. Imagine the pride, the skill, the control, the results you will enjoy after a year, 2 years, 5 years of applying the 1% strategy consistently. The results are predictable, achievable, and within your control. The power of compounding is not limited to money. It applies to skill, mindset, discipline, emotional control, and ultimately life itself. The choice is yours. Act now. Take that first deliberate step. Commit to one small improvement today. Repeat it consistently, reflect, automate, and let compounding transform you. Remember, your first 1% improvement today is the foundation of your transformation, the beginning of mastery, the path to freedom, the chain that leads to skill, confidence, and account growth. Take action now. Feel the energy of possibility, embrace the discipline, commit fully, because your transformation begins today, one small, consistent step at a time. The power of 1% is real, it is actionable, it is unstoppable, and it will transform your trading, your mindset, and your life if you commit and take that first step today. The choice is simple. Act now, improve by 1%, repeat daily, reflect, automate, and watch your future unfold. This is your call to action, your moment to decide, your opportunity to start the compounding journey. Your first step today is the start of your transformation, your pathway to mastery, your foundation for freedom, your system for predictable success. Take that step, act now, and let the 1% principle change your life forever. Remember, champions are built one small, consistent action at a time, and today is the day you become unstoppable, one 1% improvement at a time. Start now, and let your transformation begin.